Hello dear students, in this session let us know whether our intervals are Lebesgue measurable sets or not. Okay, for that there is a theorem that is intervals or Lebesgue measurable sets. Intervals or Lebesgue measurable set. So in order to prove this theorem we have to prove one lemma which will make our proof to be easier. Okay. This is the statement of a lemma. If sigma algebra of subsets of R contains interval of the form a comma infinity, then it contains all the intervals. What they have given, if this form of intervals are in sigma algebra, then all other types of intervals also will be there in sigma algebra. This is the statement of the proof. Okay. The given data is a comma infinity is sigma algebra. So that means why we are actually proving this lemma is, just observe here. If I prove this lemma, it means that the box, that means all Lebesgue measurable sets, this will be sigma algebra. Okay, so this box contains all intervals. So every interval is, that means if I prove all intervals are in sigma algebra, that means my box is sigma algebra. Okay, then I can conclude that every intervals will be inside that box. Just observe, if I prove this theorem, that is if a sigma algebra of subsets of R contains interval of the form a comma infinity, then it contains all the intervals, means it is just that I am proving all my intervals are in sigma algebra. Okay, that is it contains all the intervals. So I know that sigma algebra will be inside my box, that is inside my Lebesgue measurable sets. So I can conclude that every interval will be inside the box. That is every intervals are Lebesgue measurable set. So let's prove now. The given data is a comma infinity is sigma algebra. First of all, I will prove that I will consider one type of interval, that is minus infinity comma a. I will prove they are in sigma algebra. Okay. So how do we do that? Consider, I will consider what I will consider. I will consider open interval a comma infinity. Open a closed infinity. Using set theory, I can write this as intersection of n is equal to 1 to infinity a minus 1 by n comma infinity. It means that you are approaching to a. Okay, you are making this term you are making this term smaller and smaller, and you are approaching to a. Okay, and you are taking intersection of all such quantities. It means that you will finally get a comma infinity. Using set theory you can prove this. Check it out. Okay, now see, we are given that a comma infinity is sigma algebra. I can say that RHS of this term, of whole this term, RHS will be sigma algebra. How can I say that? They have given that a comma infinity is sigma algebra, and I know that countable intersection of elements of sigma algebra or in sigma algebra. Okay, from this I can say that this RHS part, whole RHS part will be inside sigma algebra. That means RHS is in sigma algebra. So what does it mean? My interval is in sigma algebra. When I can say this will be in sigma algebra, if and only if its complement is also in sigma algebra. So we know that from properties, if any set is Lebesgue measurable set, then its complement will also be Lebesgue measurable set. Using that, I can say that if this interval is in sigma algebra, then its complement is obviously in sigma algebra. So complement, I can write it as minus infinity a. So this is in sigma algebra. Okay, so what we have proved? We know that a comma infinity is sigma algebra. We have proved that this type of interval as well as this type of intervals are in sigma algebra. So what else we are left with? We have intervals of the form a comma b. I have to prove this is in sigma algebra now. So I can rewrite this as minus infinity comma b intersection a comma infinity. Okay. So I know that this is sigma in sigma algebra. This is individually in sigma algebra. And one more thing, what I know is finite intersection of elements in sigma algebra is again in sigma algebra. So from that I can say a comma b is in sigma algebra. How I have considered this? This is my real line. If this is a and this is b, a to infinity, b to infinity, taking intersection along a to b. If you take that, you will get a comma b. That is open interval a comma b. Now let us see closed and finite interval, that is a comma b. That is a b. So what I can write for this? I can write closed interval a comma b as considering this part union this part and taking complement. This part union, and if I take complement of this union, I will get this part, isn't it? So I will write it as minus infinity, the last point, to a union b to infinity whole complement. I will get closed interval a comma b. So again I know this is sigma algebra, this is already in sigma algebra, this is also already in sigma algebra, and also union of finite union or countable union of elements in sigma algebra, finite union of elements in sigma algebra is again in sigma algebra. So from that I can say that my closed interval a comma b is okay. After that I have to take complement, right? So complement is also sigma algebra. So I can say a comma b is in sigma algebra. So we have an interval of the type closed interval minus infinity to a. So we know that a comma infinity whole complement is sigma algebra. In sigma algebra, so obviously closed interval minus infinity to a is also in sigma algebra. And also the interval of type a comma infinity, I can write this as minus infinity comma a complement. So again this type of intervals are in sigma algebra. So obviously closed interval a comma infinity are also in sigma algebra. The last one is minus infinity to infinity. This is from the definition of sigma algebra. This is already inside sigma algebra. So I have covered all types of intervals. It means that we have proved that whenever we can prove that the interval of the type a comma infinity is in sigma algebra, then all the intervals are in sigma algebra. All the intervals are in sigma algebra. Now we want to prove that every interval, to prove every interval is Lebesgue measurable set. So we know that all intervals are inside our Lebesgue measurable set, that is sigma algebra. So what we have to prove, that every interval which is inside sigma algebra, it is a Lebesgue measurable set. That's what we have to prove. So from lemma I can say that a comma infinity is Lebesgue measurable set because it is inside sigma algebra. Sigma algebra is already a Lebesgue measurable set. So I can say that a comma infinity is Lebesgue measurable set. So we only left out, we supposed to prove that all the intervals are in our Lebesgue measurable set. So in order to prove that every interval is Lebesgue measurable set, using the lemma we have proved here, for this interval, if I prove this interval is Lebesgue measurable set, then it is obvious that every interval is Lebesgue measurable set. So I will call this as E. So let's consider E is the set and its interval is a comma infinity. So what I have to do? I have to prove that this E is Lebesgue measurable set. Okay, this is your set. So from definition of Lebesgue measurable set, I can write m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection E plus m star of A intersection E complement for all A subset of R. So let us select any subset A of R. So what we have to prove? We want to prove that E is a Lebesgue measurable set. So if I consider any subset A of R, then there will be two situations. One is A belongs to A, another is A does not belongs to A. If A does not belongs to A, then this is fine. Let's leave this. If A belongs to A, in this case, what we will do is we will replace A with A minus that set. The set which is belongs to the subset A of R. Okay, you will remove that set. So why we are doing this, you will get to know in further steps. So we have to prove that m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection A comma infinity plus m star of A intersection A comma infinity whole complement. So I will call this as A2 and this as A1. So this means that what I supposed to prove? I supposed to prove that m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A1 plus m star of A2. So I have now A1 is equal to A intersection A comma infinity complement and A2 is equal to A intersection A comma infinity. So here you can note that this A intersection A comma infinity complement is actually minus infinity comma A, isn't it? Since I am considering the set where A belongs to capital A, here we will remove this A, correct? So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು? I will restrict my interval to minus infinity to A interval. Okay, this is why I am considering, because A does not belongs to A. A does not belongs to capital A ಆಗಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನ ಕಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್. So the complement is actually this. I will change to this. I hope you are understanding. So from Lebesgue outer measure definition, I know that m star of A is equal to infimum of summation k is equal to 1 to infinity length of ik, such that A is subset of union of ik's where ik is open and bounded interval. This is from the definition of Lebesgue outer measure, isn't it? So I'm using the definition of Lebesgue outer measure in order to prove that m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A plus m star of A2. So if I prove that for any collection ik where k is equal to 1 to infinity, such that ik is open and bounded intervals and A is subset of union ik's, summation k is equal to 1 to infinity length of ik is greater than or equal to m star of A1 plus m star of A2. So if I prove this, then I am done, because for every ik, for every collection, this term, for every collection, this term is obviously greater or equal to RHS. Okay, then obviously if I take infimum for this, infimum will also greater than or equal to RHS of this term. Are you getting? I'm just considering the collections. So for any collection ik where k is equal to 1 to infinity, such that ik is open and bounded interval and A is subset of union of ik's. So if I prove this term, that is summation k is equal to 1 to infinity length of ik is greater than or equal to outer measure of A1 plus outer measure of A2, then I am done, because for every ik, that is for every collection, this term is obviously greater than or equal to this term. So if I take infimum also, this will be greater than or equal to this term. So let us start with any such collection. Okay, any such collection of ik's where k is equal to 1 to infinity. I will get 3 cases, maybe 3 situations. So if this is my A, infinity to infinity, A minus infinity to infinity, A minus infinity to infinity, I may get intervals here or here or here. So I can define my ik's cover as ik dash is equal to ik intersection minus infinity to A, ik double dash is equal to ik intersection A to infinity. I am defining such covers. Okay, so that is ik dash and ik double dash. These ik dash and ik double dash are open and bounded intervals. Since ik's cover for A, I can write, we know that A1 is equal to A intersection minus infinity to A and A2 is equal to A intersection A comma infinity. So from that I can write that ik dash covers all open and bounded bounded intervals of A1 and Ik double dash covers all open and bounded intervals of A2. And one more thing you should note from these three cases is length of Ik is equal to length of Ik dash plus length of Ik double dash. Okay. So in this situation the Ik double dash is 0. So length of Ik will be equal to length of Ik dash. Here length of Ik dash is 0. So you will get length of Ik is equal to length of Ik double dash. Here you have both Ik dash as well as Ik double dash. So you will get the length of all a complete interval. Okay. So from the definition of outer measure for A1, I can write it as measure of A1 is nothing but infimum of summation length of Ik such that A1 is subset of union of Ik's. Similarly, for outer measure of A2, it is infimum of summation length of Ik such that A2 is subset of union Ik. So this means that definitely my m star of A1 will be less than or equal to summation k is equal to 1 to infinity length of Ik, because outer measure of A1 is, this is infimum of all such quantities. This is one such quantity. This is infimum of all such quantities. So infimum of, if I consider infimum of all such quantities, obviously it will be lesser than one such quantity. Similarly, m star of A2 will be less than or equal to summation k is equal to 1 to infinity length of Ik. Okay, this is for Ik dash and this is for Ik double dash. So from these two, I can write outer measure of A1 plus outer measure of A2 is less than or equal to summation k is equal to 1 to infinity length of Ik dash plus length of Ik double dash. So I know that length of Ik dash plus length of Ik double dash is length of Ik. This will be less than or equal to outer measure of A1 plus outer measure of A2. Okay, so we have proved that for every Ik,